Welcome to Business Prowess with Rafael and Juanita. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. We'll talk to experts and business leaders. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Rafael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Juanita Cap is a public speaker who was in the ministry for 15 years. She has extensive knowledge of various topics such as leadership and communication, and has emceed many executive and academic events. Juanita is the founder of 2 unique shows. Her life motto is never give up.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Business Prowess. We are here with the amazing Alejandro J Tornato, my friend, my brother, and my business colleague as well. And I just have to give a shout out to my amazing co-host, Sifu Rafael. He's currently traveling and on a business trip, and we miss him so much in these sessions, but he will be back on the 11th of August. So today we have Alejandro J Tornato, and I met Alejandro through the CLA, the Connected Leaders Academy, last year, and we really had edifying conversations. And before we know it, we became business partners. So Alejandro, please introduce yourself to the audience before we start talking on the wonderful topic that we have for today.
Hey, Juanita, I'm so delighted and so happy to be here in this show, and I want to wish Sifu Rafael safe travels and a productive time away from the show. But yes, my name is Alejandro J Tornato, and we met through the Connected Leaders Academy through our dear friend Jose Escobar. And we've been interacting, for a very long time. And I am a motivational, inspirational speaker. I am a leadership coach. As a matter of fact, let me just correct that. I am a leadership coach, but I am a self-leadership coach because I help individuals, who are starting a journey into leadership to really pay attention not to leading others first, but to pay attention in leading themselves first, because in the same degree that they can lead themselves successfully, then that will translate into leading others in a very successful way, an impactful way. So I love to speak. I love to share stories. I love to inspire people. I love to take people to the next level in their personal and professional evolutions. And here I am with you today. And so let's see what we can create today, because believe it or not, we are all creating new things every day. And the question is, as I was asked this same question many years ago, and that question put me in or helped me to think in the right mind, with the right mindset. I'm going to ask that same question to all of you who are watching us today and who will get the replay. And the question is this: what are you creating today? What are you creating today? Think about that, because that can definitely change your life. So back to you, Juanita.
Thank you, Alejandro. Absolutely fantastic question. And that actually, in a way, kind of relates to our topic today. You know, the 7 etiquettes that you've been working on when engaging in a virtual coffee. I guess the point of having a coffee with someone, whether it be in person or virtual, and virtual coffees is our topic today, is to build relationship, is to create that lasting friendship. And even, what transpired from our virtual coffee last year, our first virtual coffee, was a business. And that's creating something, a business through which we create content. So I listed the points that you've been formulating. There are 7 points, and I just want to run through them with you so that we can really elaborate on this topic, because it's a very, very big part of our hybrid state that we function in these days. It's, I think, a good spin-off of COVID was that now the world is in actual fact, through technology, become so small. We are able to connect with amazing individuals across the globe. And your first point, your first etiquette that you listed here is show up with no excuse. And I wanted to just discuss from my point of view, showing up not just for your guest, but for yourself, showing up to the up in life. There's a lot of lessons to be learned when we show up for the things that we sign on for. Now, I have to say, in all transparency, earlier this year, I came back from St. Louis. I flew back from St. Louis just before Passover weekend. And there was a time shift, and my time shift changed from being 7 hours ahead of America, of the EST time zone, to 6 hours. But I was aware of this time shift. And I remember doing a video on my page talking about how that week had really been difficult for me, because in essence, it changed all the times on my meetings. And, I have to say, in all transparency, I missed quite a lot of meetings that week. But that's when a situation is out of your hands. That's when, it happens now and again, but it shouldn't be something that happens recurringly. So tell us a bit more about showing up with no excuses.
Yes, sure. And what a great example that was that you shared, because we are doing business, and we are doing connections with people, not just in our time zone, but we are doing that globally. And that's one of the advantages of doing things globally and doing things through this medium of Zoom or any other platform, where distances are basically nothing. I mean, they're non-existent, because if I have to have a meeting with you or a virtual coffee with you in person, then either you would have to travel thousands and thousands of miles to come here to Georgia in the United States, or I have to travel thousands of miles to go to South Africa. But here, in a matter of seconds, we can connect via the power of technology. But it doesn't matter how we connect with people, whether it's in person or virtually. One of the primary steps to build trustworthiness with people, to build trust. And remember the premise, Juanita, and everybody else who's watching, remember this premise that people do business with who? With people that they like, that they know, and that they can trust. These are the people that you are going to not only connect, but eventually, if you want to do something, to get into a partnership, to get into a business, to buy a service or to sell a service, to buy a product or to sell a product, it doesn't matter. But you are going to do business, or you are going to do something, you are going to create something new with the people who you trust. And a very simple way to begin that trust journey is doing what? Is showing up when you said that you were going to show up. You see, there's not too many things bother me. Not too many things make me upset. But there's one thing that for sure, it makes me really upset, is that when I schedule something, or when somebody schedules something with me, that at the time that they need to show up, they don't. And they keep me hanging on. I mean, that is a no-no. I mean, that can happen one time. And one time, you see, I'll give them a pass. And I said, okay, well, I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt. But if it happens twice, then, my friend, you are gone. I mean, you are no longer, because you are not worthy of my trust. And I guess, and that happens even so when I schedule something and I know that I will not be able to make it because life happens, and sometimes something happens and you cannot fulfill that commitment, but there is a way out. There is a way out. Is that before, not 2 minutes before, but the day before, at least the day before, you contact the person and you said, you know, this came up at the last moment. I wasn't expecting this, and I won't be able to meet with you. We need to reschedule. I'm very sorry about that, but this is what happened. I apologize. That is the way that you keep that trust going, because you are letting the other person know. But some people, they think, hey, I have a meeting with you at 10 o'clock today, and at 9:59 I call you that I won't be able to make it. No, that's too late already. I mean, you are waiting for the person, I mean, to have the meeting. That's not the time to let the person know. So, and most people, they take that for granted. Oh, okay, well, I have a meeting. Well, it doesn't matter if I show up or don't. Yes, it does matter, because your reputation is on the line, my friends. And you don't want to have the reputation that you are a careless person, that you don't care, that your word does not matter. Your word should matter exactly the same as when you give a check. If you give a check to someone, that check has to have funds available. Is that right? So your word should matter in the same way. So I think that is the first step to having not only a good virtual coffee, but a good starting point for a good connection and a good relationship. Show up, no excuses.
That's it. That's absolutely the truth, and that builds the trust, like you said, because immediately it shows that you're reliable. Immediately it shows that you are taking this person that you're meeting and what they do seriously. And I think that's also a part of showing respect. And we have to show respect and treat everyone, with dignity. So honor that call. And if you know you're not going to be available, make sure to move it on or reschedule it the day before, not the minute before. As I said, that has happened to me before. And, sometimes those circumstances are out of your hands, but don't make a habit of it. Make sure that you are there. Show up, because great things transpire from virtual coffees. And the second point that you listed, Alejandro, is be punctual. And that's something that's very, very close to my heart. I hold it very dear. I think it's because of the martial arts, drilling that discipline into us, that, you're not just to be punctual. Make sure you are ready earlier, and make sure that you have your schedule in a way that it's flexible. So what I'm saying is, don't have back-to-back meetings where you have to jump from the one meeting to the next within a minute or two. Make sure you have those 10-minute breaks in between so that you are punctual for your next meeting, but also that you can end off your previous meeting in a satisfactory manner. I think being punctual shows our self-respect, because we present ourselves, we present our businesses, and we present the companies that we are running and working with when we are punctual. What do you want to add on that point of yours of being punctual?
Well, I can tell you one thing, punctuality is it's a characteristic that I was ingrained by my dad, by my father. I remember every time that I went to see him, or that we had schedule a meeting. It says, well, we are going to meet on such and such a day at this time. We are going to have lunch together, okay, or do something together. I can tell you one thing: it never happened. It never happened one time that my father said, we are going to meet at, let's say, 10 o'clock in the morning. That I remember one time I was there half an hour before that time. And guess what? My father was already there waiting for me. Half an hour earlier. And my father was, I could never beat him when he said, let's meet at such time. I could never beat him. He was always there. That means that he was prepared, that he was ready to meet. I mean, he was definitely, he took those meetings, and every meeting, with the same level of importance. And that's what I'm saying. If you are scheduling a meeting, don't let your guest wait for you. You be there first, and you wait for your guest, not the other way around. That's the way that you demonstrate that. For instance, Juanita has a very successful podcast, Meticulous Moments, and I'm very sorry. I mean, I should have put my phone on silent. And that was a mistake. But so Juanita has a podcast, and I was a guest on her podcast. Guess what? I don't remember that I had to wait for her. I said, when is Juanita going to show up? No. She was there. She was waiting for me. Okay? And that's the way that it should happen. If you are scheduling something, you are the first one there. So show the discipline of being punctual to the other person, because that is also adding to that trustworthiness that we spoke earlier. So be punctual, okay? No more being late. Just be there, okay? The only way, and this is a joke, the only way that you can that you have a pass not being punctual is because you are already dead, and you cannot make the meeting, okay? But apart from you dying before, you be there punctually, or even before the time. That's the second
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let nothing keep you from being punctual. I agree with you completely. And, it brings us to the third point that you listed, Alejandro. And these are very, very important points, especially for those that are fully booked, that have these back-to-back meetings every day. I mean, it's a very, very busy time. There's so many things. Technology helps everything to speed up. But at some point, we have to get to a place where we prepare for our day the evening before. And that does not only include pitching up for that meeting, being present, or being on punctual timing, but it also includes ending on time, because that shows that you are aware of the fact that you have other commitments for the day, but you also respect your guest to also be on time for their next appointment. So ending on time helps you to make sure that not only your schedule is flowing successfully, but that you are not keeping your guest or your partner from being on time for their rest of their meetings. Please elaborate on that for us.
Yes, definitely. It's ending on time. I mean, that shows respect. Juanita and myself, I mean, we are both public speakers. I mean, we love to talk. Definitely, we love to talk. But when you are invited, I mean, to a podcast, of course, you should know ahead of time, well, how long is this podcast? I mean, is it 30 minutes or even, I mean, talk to the host just to see how long, and be respectful of the time. I mean, then just go around, I mean, and keep on talking, because that person, you don't know, but that person may have another commitment right after that podcast. And if you just extend yourself in 5, 10, or 15 minutes, I mean, you're taking time out of that person's commitment. Okay. And sometimes the host is not going to cut you off and say, hey, I need to go. No, they're not going to be disrespectful. I mean, they're going to let you, but you have to be respectful first. I mean, you have to say, okay, like if you're doing a keynote presentation and you know that the keynote is only maybe 45 minutes, then just stick to the 45 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's even that or less. Don't keep on rambling, because that shows disrespect to the audience and to the host who invited you to, I mean, to speak. So that's another important element. End on time. That shows respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Alejandro. You know, you and I have been to many live events as well, together as business partners and as members of the group. To live, they are, facilitating or hosting speaking competitions, and there's a time limit. Don't finish in that time, what happens? You get disqualified.
That's right.
So very, very important to, end on time, whether you're doing public speaking, whether you are in a speaking competition, and whether you are on that program. So I want to ask you about our next point, your next point that says we should have a learning attitude. I think that's phenomenal, because in essence, we always keep learning new things every single day. I mean, I meet with so many people in the span of just 1 week, and they all teach me something valuable, and I make copious notes when I have discussions with them. And sometimes things that they say resonate with memories and experiences I've had, and sometimes it sparks a new thought or a new idea. So how do we approach having that attitude of learning when we go into a virtual coffee? I think that has to do with humility, in my opinion, as well.
That's right. I mean, when you come into a virtual coffee, that's personally the way that I come to a virtual coffee. I come to a virtual coffee with the attitude, not the attitude that I'm going to teach this person what I know. Okay, I'm not going to be the professor here. No, I come with the attitude that I want to learn about you. I want to get to know you. And as a matter of fact, this is funny, but it happened to me kind of recently. I had a meeting with someone, and so we started talking, and I was asking questions. I mean, trying to get to know the person, and kept on trying to explore and finding out about them and what made them tick, and what do they love to do, and what are they passionate, and so forth. And then we run through the whole time that we had allotted, and then the person clicked and says, oh my goodness, we have to have a second meeting, because you know about me, but I did not get to know about you. Okay. And that is a good thing, because at least they know that they were important to you. You wanted to learn about them. And then, of course, we can have a second meeting, and then you can tell them about you. But if you come to the first meeting with the attitude that, hey, I really, I am important and I want you to know everything about me. I mean, me. No. It's not that attitude that you have to have when you meet someone. The attitude is, I know that you have at least one thing, most of the times more than one thing, but at least one thing that I can learn from you. And that's my primary objective, is what can I learn from you? How can I get to know you? That's let them know that, because that will take you a very long way in developing that relationship with that person.
I agree. It's very fundamental in, laying that relationship, like you said. And it also makes people feel how important they are to you.
Yeah.
And, everybody's special. I have so many different friends from across the globe, and they differ so much in personality. They differ so much in what they do, but they're all special. And I really believe that when we go into these meetings, we should have that attitude of servant leadership. I'm here to serve you. How may I help you excel? How may I help you to exponentially grow? How can I be of service to you? And I think it's very important that we really start relationships, business relationships, that we build off on that note. Now, that brings us to your next point number 5. And this is something that I've come across so frequently. And I have to say, in the beginning, I had to get used to it. And that was when I would enter virtual coffees and the person on the other end would be in sales mode, meaning we would just say hello and the person would start pitching their products, their programs, and, trying to sell their services. Now, there's nothing wrong with selling your services, pitching your products, talking about the commercial side of what you do. But I do believe we should do that with tact. Now, tell us more about your 5th point, which is don't be in sales mode when you meet the person for the first time.
Yes, and that's true. Everybody has something to sell. Everybody has a product, a service, whatever it is that they want to fill the whole earth with, but I believe that the first meeting is not designed to be salesly. To be on that sales mode and modality and mindset. No, the first meeting is all about discovering the other person, getting to know the other person, developing rapport with the other person. Very difficult to build rapport with someone when you are trying to, even in a tactful way, to push a product down their throats and said, look at this is the best thing since, I don't care whether that is the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, I want to get to know you as a person first, not your products. It is said that when it comes to leadership, people don't follow the leader's vision and mission first. Who they follow is the person first, not their vision. Is the person. Am I going to follow him? Am I seeing this person with the character, with the values that I need to follow them It doesn't matter what their vision is first, is the person. So
Yeah.
when you do a virtual coffee or when you meet someone, I don't care about the products. I mean, they could be selling whatever it is, the biggest thing. I want to know them as a human being first. And that's because that's how you build rapport. You don't build rapport selling, but you build rapport connecting with someone. That's an important point also.
That's the truth. Absolutely. And, when you acknowledge the person, it's so much easier to communicate because they feel and know that what you are saying and doing is heartfelt. You mean it, you're sincere, you're authentic. And I always say there's 2 steps after communicating, and that's to communicate effectively and then to connect. And we don't connect with people if we try and sell things in our very first virtual coffee. Yes, of course, we're business owners. There are products and services that we sell, but building that lasting relationship, building relationships. I mean, I have business relationships that I built in 2008, 2009, some in 2013. And that was because I invested in getting to know the person, getting to know what the person does and being of service. If I wasn't a good fit for their product or for their service, I would always refer them or guide them in the right direction for some of my other connections. So that's very, very important. Now, number 6, I think, is something that we've all been confronted with in virtual coffees, and we should take care not to make this mistake. Yours, number 6, your point here is don't be overwhelming. Don't be a bulldozer. Don't talk when the other person is talking. Don't, bring that balance, bring the right vibe into your virtual coffee, because I have to say, I have been in some of, you feel a little bit overwhelmed. And that's because of enthusiasm and excitement. But, pace the meeting, pace yourself. Tell us a little bit more about how you added that point to your list.
Yes, it's because I had so many encounters with people who they were extremely overpowering. And you know what I mean. I mean, when we say don't be overpowering or don't be overwhelming. I mean, you have attended, I'm sure you have attended not one time, but many times, meetings, whether in person or virtual meetings, whether there's perhaps 5 or 10 people in the room, but there is one person who just tries to spend all of the time talking and sharing ideas and sharing things and talking, and not letting everybody else participate. And that's what happens is you may consider that you have a high IQ level, or you are almost a genius, and people ought to give you the benefit of listening to you because you have no. You have to let other people. I mean, this is one of, and I tell you, this is one of the dangers of not being a good team player. If you are in a team, whether in sports or in business, you be a team player. A team player is not someone who overwhelms and overpowers everybody else. A team player is someone who allows the whole team to shine. So don't be overwhelming. Just be a team player. And when you're having a virtual coffee with another person, that's a team. 2 people make up a team. Be a good team player in that circumstance.
That's it. Don't be overwhelming. Pace the conversation. Be a team player, like Alejandro said. You know what's the beautiful thing in life and what I love about what I do, and I'm sure you share that same compassion for people, is I meet people with the most amazing personalities, and they all differ, but they're all so unique. So sometimes, because we have our own energy that we carry, we have to pace that conversation, and that's a good thing. It's teaching us new skills. It helps us when we present ourselves. It helps us when we are in live or virtual events. Now, that brings us to your last point, point number 7. And that's also important, is to show enthusiasm, to really be interested in what the person has to say, to ask interesting questions. And I think that involves listening really in depth what the person is saying, and to really be interested in a sincere way, showing that enthusiasm. Tell us more about that.
Well, that's very simple. Okay, when you're in front of another person, okay, in person or virtually, you see, your demeanor shows the other person that you are interested in what they're saying. You see, you can be listening to another person like that, and your posture shows that you are not interested and you are bored with what they're saying. Now, there are people who are maybe not as demonstrative and social and upbeat as you are, but that doesn't make a difference. You have to show interest in what they're saying. Show enthusiasm for what they're saying. Don't be like that. I mean, demonstrating that, well, when is this meeting going to end? No, that's not, because people can pick up that energy and those vibrations. Don't let the other person know that you really don't want to stay with them. This is a good point to apply or to implement this. Be in the here and now. Don't allow any kind of distractions, phone, anything. Just take those away and concentrate exclusively on the other person. That should be the goal. You show interest, you show enthusiasm, you show that you want to be with the person. Okay, so that is the point number 7 to actually wrap this series of or strategies to really have an outstanding virtual coffee or any kind of meeting by that token. Okay, so I don't know what happened. I think that we lost our host, Juanita Cap. I guess maybe, the connection, something happened to the connection. Let's wait to see, if she can rejoin us. But oh, there she is. I knew that there was perhaps a problem with the connection, but here you're back.
I'm back. Yes, let's show enthusiasm, really get to know the person, really delve into what they do. And that's also part of our learning process. That's part of our personal and professional growth as well. There are so many people, professionals out there, that can teach us so many valuable lessons. And, we've gone through all 7 points now. And your points, I'll list them here. And I believe that you are building this out to a program as well. The first one is show up with no excuses. Point number 2, be punctual, end on time, have a learning attitude, don't be in sales mode, don't be overwhelming, and show enthusiasm. And I want to thank you for bringing these points to the fore, because I believe that the audience, received a lot of edification from it. And I want to ask you, we do the Captor Connect Conference together. Alejandro and I did the 1 and 2, and we are about to start with Captor Connection 3, which is going to take place in August. So please tell the audience a little bit more. And I've got my mask here because I'm not only a public speaker and an author and an empowerment coach, I'm also a captor. I'm a South African captor. So tell the audience more about Captor Connection 3, please, Alejandro.
Well, as most people know, I mean, with Juanita, we started this business and the Captor Connection, and as part of the Captor Connection, I mean, we started doing this conferences, virtual conferences, and we had conference number 1, conference number 2, and now we are getting ready to do conference number 3 in August 24th, 25th, and 26th of August of this year. And it is our typical conference, I mean, to have 18 speakers. I mean, not just 18 speakers, but 18 top-notch speakers. Speakers who did not start speaking yesterday, but who have a long history and a long experience speaking and sharing and telling their stories and telling and sharing topics that are very, very relevant to the world that we are living today. And so we are in, I would say, production mode and development mode. I mean, for this upcoming conference, Captor Conference number 3, we are extremely excited. We know that, well, all the conferences so far, I mean, have been absolutely outstanding. But I have to say that every conference, we are upping the level of that conference. I mean, we are raising the bar for the Captor conference, and so Captor Connection 3 is not. I said it to Juanita many times. Jay, what we are doing, this is not. We don't have to call it a conference anymore. This is an experience. So I think that this is a Captor experience number 3, okay? Because just come and join us. Come and be part of this experience. Because if you have attended conferences before, once you come to our experience, is none like any other that you have attended. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you anything. I mean, you just have to be there in order to experience that for yourself. Back to you, Juanita.
I agree. Thank you, Alejandro. I agree completely. It is the experience of a lifetime. There's so many people that have been, just lifted and edified and excited with us. I want to thank everyone that have been a part of our first 2 conferences, whether you were a speaker or whether you were an attendee. We appreciate you, and we invite you to our next experience, our Captor Connection experience. We do have slots open for speakers, so make sure you DM me or Alejandro, and we will put you on that list. And definitely had a wonderful time with you today, Alejandro, my fellow captor, and we appreciate the time that you took out to spend with us, and looking forward to all the great things that will transpire in the future. Have a beautiful day. And are there any last words that you want to add before we end the session?
Well, I would like to thank you and Sifu Rafael, even though, I mean, he's not here, but he's going to watch this episode. So thank you to both of you for extending me this invitation to share this. And it's always great, I mean, for me to be surrounded with extraordinary people, because they can help me become extraordinary. So thank you so very much, Juanita.
Thank you, Alejandro. And to the audience, thank you for joining us. Shout out to Sifu. We'll see you here soon, very soon on the 11th of August. And with that, we bid you goodbye. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
And you too. Be well.
Bye.